So you've got stubborn Achilles tendon pain that just won't quit. What should you do about it? While some cases might improve on their own, it's common for symptoms to hang around longer than you'd like. This not only means more pain, but also affects your performance. Resting is a good start, but it often isn't enough. In this video, we'll dive into everything you need to know to tackle persistent Achilles tendon pain and get back to doing what you love. When it comes to treating long-standing tendon pain, research has shown that exercise is by far the most effective approach. Not injections, special creams, electrical devices, medications, or massage techniques. While these can offer some pain relief and help support your recovery, it's exercise that leads to lasting, long-term improvements. But why is that? Well, this is because exercise provides the crucial stimulus your tendon needs to remodel and get stronger. Without it, the tendon structure won't change, resulting in continued pain and weakness. The aim is to apply mechanical load to the tendon, which promotes remodeling through a concept known as tissue adaptation, which will lead to improvements in tendon strength, function, and ultimately less pain. Although there's no one size fits all for the best loading factors, tendons usually respond better to higher loads over longer durations rather than lower loads over shorter periods. But the exact exercises you do will heavily depend on your levels of pain and soreness during and after exercise. Pain is not only an annoyance, but it can be a useful guide to determining how hard to push your body in some cases. In the situation with tendon issues, pain is something we need to manage, but it doesn't mean we need to avoid it completely. A good gauge if you're pushing your tendon too hard is to check your pain levels during and after activity. If your pain is above a 5 out of 10 during exercise or the next day, it's a sign you might be overdoing it. If it's between a 2 and a 5, that's an acceptable range, but try not to push it any higher. Stick to your current exercise intensity to avoid overworking your tendon and slowing down recovery. When your pain starts to get closer to the safe zone, which is 2 or less out of 10, begin to gradually increase the intensity, but make sure to reassess and adjust as needed. This way, you're giving your tendon enough load to stimulate remodeling process and make it stronger without overdoing it. Getting a handle on this concept will be key to managing your recovery process on your own. Let's now dive into the phases of Achilles tendon rehab, which are usually broken down into 4 stages. Number 1, symptom management and load reduction. 2, recovery. 3, rebuilding. And 4, return to sport. Understanding these stages will help you set realistic expectations and create a strategic plan for your recovery journey. The goal for the first phase of tendon recovery is all about managing your symptoms. If you don't address the cycle of overloading and ongoing injury, you'll likely struggle with recovery. This is the time to assess your symptoms, how severe they are, and how easy they're triggered. If your symptoms are intense and easily provoked, you'll need to back off more significantly and really give your body a chance to catch up. On the other hand, if they're milder, you might be able to progress a bit faster. Either way, it's important to take a break from any activity that triggers your symptoms. Remember, a short rest now is better than dealing with long-term pain and complications later. But we're not aiming for complete rest, as that can sometimes be counterproductive, extending recovery and further weakening the tendon. The key is to find the right balance between staying active and not overloading the tendon. During this phase, we want to keep the rest of your body conditioned while being careful not to aggravate the Achilles tendon even further. So continue exercising the rest of your body, but we'll stay focused on keeping that Achilles tendon pain in check. Throughout Achilles tendon rehab, the main exercises for tendon loading are different types of heel raises on a flat surface. You'll start with double leg heel raises, where you lift both heels slowly and steadily, about 3 seconds up and 1 second down. As you progress, you'll move to single leg heel raises, using the same 3 seconds up and 1 second down pace. Then, you'll try 2 up and 1 down heel raises, focusing on controlled lowering with a pace of 3 seconds up and now 4 seconds down, really slow and controlled. You'll do 3 sets of 10 repetitions for each exercise, with a 2-minute rest in between sets. If your symptoms are in the safe range, perform these exercises every day. It's recommended that if you can perform an exercise 2 days in a row with safe levels of pain, then you can progress it to the next type of heel raise. Now, if your pain is in the acceptable ranges, it would be best to perform the exercise every other day to allow for recovery, and don't progress it just yet. Only increase your intensity if your symptoms remain in the safe zone. Keep track of how your tendon responds to these exercises and adjust as needed to ensure you're not overloading it. In the recovery phase, we're still keeping your pain in check, but we're starting to increase the intensity to build a bit of calf muscle strength and improve your Achilles tendon's ability to handle more load. You'll start this phase once you can comfortably do the full body weight exercises from the previous phase without pain going beyond the safe zone. Begin by advancing your heel raise exercises. Start with standing on a step with your heels hanging off and do a double leg heel raise, lifting for 3 seconds up and lowering for 1 second. Progress to single leg heel raises with the same timing. Then move to 2 up and 1 down heel raises, focusing on 3 seconds up and a nice slow controlled 4-second lower. After that, add quick rebound heel raises to mimic the more dynamic movements of running and jumping. Once you've completed the full progression with minimal pain, you're ready to move to phase 3. In this phase, the focus is on further strengthening your calf muscles through progressive loading and reintroducing jumping activities, all while still managing your tendon's pain. At this point, you should start adding weights to your heel raise exercises. You can do this by using a weighted vest, throwing some weights in a backpack, or using equipment like a leg press or Smith machine. Start slow, beginning with about 10 pounds, and if that feels good, increase the load steadily by 10% if your pain symptoms are minimal. Shoot for 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions with a tempo of 3 seconds up and 4 seconds down. Do these exercises daily if your symptoms are in the safe zone during and after the exercise, or every other day if they're in the acceptable zone. You can also start to add plyometric exercises, but only if you're walking pain-free. These exercises are great because they start to introduce a load that you experience when running. Start with double leg hops, then progress to single leg hops, doing about 3 sets of 15 to 30 repetitions. Introducing jumps before running helps your tendon adjust to faster speeds and greater forces, preparing it for the demands of running. Once you can hop and perform heavy weighted exercises with minimal to no pain, you're ready to move on to phase 4. In the return to sport phase, the goal is to safely get you back to your favorite activities. But even if symptoms seem to have disappeared, avoid rushing back into sports. Start by monitoring how your Achilles feels during and after training, especially the day after. Pay attention to any stiffness, pain, or swelling, and use this feedback to gauge your activity level. Begin with lower intensity activities and gradually increase the intensity as your tendon adapts. Incorporate sport-specific drills progressively, and always listen to your body's signals. By following these steps, you'll reduce the risk of re-injury and ensure a smoother transition back to activity. Recovering from Achilles tendon pain is one thing, but preventing it from coming back is a whole nother challenge. After putting in all that hard work in your tendon rehab, you definitely don't want to end up back where you started. So how can you effectively prevent recurrence? Well, research has identified several key factors that contribute to Achilles tendon pain. The most common cause of Achilles tendon pain is due to sudden increases in training intensity or duration, a common mistake known as training load error. In essence, the tendon wasn't strong enough to handle the loads it was exposed to, leading to stress. This can happen due to overuse, where continuous high-intensity activity wears down and stresses the tendon, or by progressing too quickly, such as going from running 1 mile to 10 miles. It can also occur from a sudden overload, like landing from a height or putting extra pressure on the Achilles tendon like running up a hill. It's not just about the intensity of the activity though. Other risk factors for Achilles tendon pain include weak leg muscles, poor hip control, limited ankle flexibility, flat feet, and excessive body weight. Even your choices of supportive footwear and the surfaces you walk or run on can play a role. When returning to walking or running programs after injury, a good rule of thumb is the 10% rule. Gradually increase your mileage by no more than 10% at a time. This approach lets you monitor how your body responds and make any necessary adjustments needed based on pain. While rest is important, it often isn't enough on its own. Strengthening exercises and gradual return to activity are key, not just for recovery, but also for preventing the problem from coming back. So don't wait too long to address Achilles tendon pain. The sooner you manage it, the better your chances of avoiding a prolonged recovery. If your Achilles pain doesn't improve after a few weeks of rest and self-care, it might be time to seek professional help. Physical therapy can target the root cause and help you get back to your activities safely without risking re-injury. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Physio Show. You can show your support for the channel by hitting that thumbs up and subscribing. And don't forget to hit the notification button so you can stay up to date about your body, how it works, and what it needs to keep moving.